Welcome back to Pace Immigration, paceimmigration.com, talking once again with immigration lawyer extraordinaire Andy Semichuk. Andy, today we're going to talk about, it's alphabet soup whenever we talk about immigration, but today is the E2.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
take us through the E2. What is it for and why would someone use it?
Okay. In the U.S. context, an E2 visa is a kind of a business visa. There's a similar type of visa in Canada called a Section 205 visa that I'd also like to touch on.
Okay.
But let's talk about E2 first.
Okay.
Let's say you're a small businessman in Canada or elsewhere outside of the United States, and you're thinking, gee, I'd like to set something up in the United States. For example, I had a woman who was a dress designer, and she lived in Nepal. And she was interested in coming to the United States and setting up a dress design shop in New York. So that was an example. And there was another guy, for example, a guy from Egypt who had been in the car rental business in Egypt and had something to do with batteries, a battery manufacturing facility. And he decided, I'd like to move to Florida and start up a car rental agency in Florida.
Okay.
So those are two examples, concrete examples of people who would be interested in setting up a business in the United States. Now, how do you do it? So there are a couple of steps. Number one, you have to incorporate a company,
Okay.
which we can do for them. Number two, register them with the immigration people, the IRS. They have to pay taxes in the States. Number three, you have to open a bank account, probably Bank of America or, I don't know, Western Union or some
Wells Fargo or
Wells
whatever.
Fargo, yeah.
Anyone's still standing after 2008.
Right,
basically.
right.
Okay.
Okay, then number four, they have to prepare a business plan for their company. Number five, they have to open an office in the United States. Now, in the beginning it has to be probably pretty modest or whatever, but they have to have a physical facility somewhere where they're going to be calling their office.
Okay.
And then with all that, and then put some money into the bank account. And with that in place, we can apply for what's called an E2 visa, to enable this person as an investor to go into the United States and start their business. Now, not every country, not people from every country are qualified to go to the United States under this. There are some countries that are not qualified. So, for example, India is one country, unfortunately, not qualified. But Pakistan, strangely enough, is. It depends on whether the country has signed an investment visa or treaty with the United States.
It sounds like similarly to like work visas and things that people, and I see this on Facebook and in our social media feeds a lot, that people kind of get it back to front. You need to be set up before you come.
Right.
Like it's not a case of, and that's the way a lot of people think about work visas. They think, I'll come here first, then get a job.
Right.
Not the way it works.
No. And it's, there are three reasons why government officials would be willing to give someone like this work visa, having set themselves up. Before I touch on the three, the prevailing view is we don't want to give someone a visa to start up. We want to bet on someone who's already going, and we just have to give them the visa to keep going. That's the concept. But there are three reasons why they would support someone like this. One is they're bringing money into the United States, or another one is they're going to be hiring American workers, or the third reason is there's some technological breakthrough or some creative reason that idea that they're bringing to the United States that would help.
It's a prestige thing.
Yes.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay.
So that's kind of a synopsis of the E2, and there's a similar kind of a thing in Canada with the Section 205 application.
Section 205 sounds almost a little, I don't know, sinister.
Yeah,
Section 8 or something.
It's kind of nerdy in a sense.
Section 205.
It's under the regulations in Canada, under the Act. And in that case, same kind of a deal. The guy has to open up, a guy or woman, depending on, a company, register with the Revenue Canada in the Canadian case, open up a bank account, set up an office, do a business plan, and put some money into the bank account to run the business. And the amounts in both cases, E2 and Section 205, depend on what the business is. Like if you're going to be a real estate developer, obviously you're going to have millions in the bank account. If you're an IT consultant, maybe just 100,000 or something like that. Depends on what. But anyway, with that in Canada, you can apply for a work permit to work for your company in Canada. But there's an added proviso in Canada, and that's your company has to be involved in something that provides an either economic, social, or cultural benefit for Canadians. That's an additional proviso to the E2 scenario in the U.S.
And that's a subjective thing?
Well, you have to no. It's
According
you
to
have
the
to
Canadian
objectively prove that there's going to be some economic, social, or cultural benefit.
Okay.
So, for example, you might get a government agency to say, well, I'll give you a practical example. There was a guy a client of ours, who opened up a lodge in southern Ontario, and he wanted the Section 205 business work permit. So what we did is we collected reference letters from the travel people, the tourism people in Ontario, from the government agencies, saying, yes, this lodge that this man is, it's a hunting lodge that this man is setting up. It's a benefit to Canada. The hunters and fishermen from around will go there, and it's desperately needed in there.
I want to go there.
I'll send you there.
I want to go fishing. Jeez, all right.
So he got his work permit on that basis. And
where was he from?
He was from the United States.
United States.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't heard much about Section 205.
Not many people talk about it, but it's definitely one way of coming to Canada and starting up, where you don't have to rely on someone sponsoring you. You're the man in charge or the woman in charge. You're setting yourself up.
You sponsor yourself.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Success rates?
High. If the job is done right, it's always a success.
That's one way to look at it.
Yeah,
okay, very well. So the ends justify the means, then.
Well, no, I see it morally that's not right.
We're going way off.
Yeah.
Now we're into the morals of hunting and fishing and things. Okay, fine. Anything else? E2, 205?
Other programs will cover other things, but I think these two are very similar, and I'm very excited about both programs, because anybody who's a business person and wants to start up something in Canada or the United States has an opportunity. There are no limits in terms of the numbers that can be brought in. People,
that's good.
you can get around any quotas and things like that, because you're bringing jobs or money or creativity to the country. That's something both countries want, and it's something I love to work in these areas. So,
lovely. Okay. The E2 or the Section 205, sponsor yourself. Come to Canada or the United States and run your business. Talk to Andy Semichuk at paceimmigration.com, and we'll see you next time. Bye.